So to have artists collect in a space, it's just really vital for me because it pushes the conversation forward. Artists have a really unique ability to see society and see issues and be able to present them back in a way that people can easily digest it, so they can kind of understand some sort of facet about what's going on in society. And when I feel like it's especially important now because our country is going through so much crazy turmoil. You know what I'm saying? It's very easy. It's very easy to kind of look over the artists or not really give them opportunities to express, because if you want to continue the system going in the direction that it is, then, you know, stopping artists from speaking, you know, is a great way to like stop the voices of people. So I feel like having space for us is just very important now because we're going through something very traumatic right now as a country.
Yeah, and speaking of countries, I'm not even from this country, and you not only gave me the opportunity, but you gave other people that you didn't even know the opportunity of talking about what's happening in other countries, like Venezuela. And the fact that you didn't hesitate to give us a space, didn't hesitate to give us some sound, just let us do our own thing. It makes us feel welcome as immigrants, as people that may not feel like they belong anywhere. Being Latina but passing as white, having an accent so you're not, like, where are you from? And this space allows for everybody to feel welcome.
This word culture is like, you know what I'm saying? It's like a mosquito in your ear, like culture. Culture to me is like, it's the raw, which spaces like these, you know, when I first walked in here, or when I walk into art spaces that are literally just walls and opportunity, not fancy or organization or balance. Because really, do we live balanced lives, like, as artists? I don't even use that word anymore. Like, there is no balance, because there's always something churning within us to create or change or evolve or transform. I think for me, it's my job to paint something or write a song that, if it helps one person give somebody else a hug, that saves their day. Or if it makes me play the cajon and stir up a vibration in a dancer, you know, then we all just saved her life tonight. You know, all that emotion that poured out of her tonight, and we're all in shock. It happened because of a space, not a cash register or fancy walls or aloe vera plants in the corner. You know what I'm saying? Like, it happened because of a space and a people. And spaces save lives.
Everyone that like came through that like put on a show, everyone that came through that like was a part of the shows and stuff like that were like local to DC, but not local artists. Do you know what I mean? Like, they were from DC, but they were artists that are also doing stuff in other places. And there are artists from other places, but specifically, I think you did a really great job of capturing like the culture of the art community here. I think it's something that is being lost pretty easily because of how things are maneuvering in DC and all the different spaces that are building up.
You know, creating these, like, whether it's like small spaces or big spaces or an old H&R Block, like anything. Just like, I think it's such a revolutionary stance, like a stance for freedom, for justice, to create a space like where you can be yourself and people can share and like really feed off each other.
It's like, it is a stew. Like, we're like all this different piles of information and memory and synapses coming together and stimulating each other, and then migrating and moving information and storing it and then going back out into our communities and like feeding them. And so these spaces provide food. Like, we are like the educators and the people who will organize, like you said. This is an organizing space, technically. We organize lines and colors and things out of elements, and that's our nature. And so I feel like going out into societies, you also play that role. If you're an artist on like a canvas or in your body, you're also an educator or an educer in our communities, and you pull out the best in people.
I think art is, as artists, we need space to cultivate more art. And so we need spaces like this to be and to grow, but then also to share. And a part of that is just like you said, like culture, but also having the sacred spaces create art, you know, and create like things that you want to continue to create. Or it's, yeah, like you said, it's like that itch, but you can't quite scratch it until it's fucking scratched, and you're like, oh, that's what I needed to do. But you have to go through that, and you need the space to do that.
I mean, here we are, we're in the nation's capital. This is really the center of so many things, and I do think that there is a reputation that DC has of not being a very cultured or artsy space. It's not really the top of the list of, like, you know, artist cities. And right when I was starting this space, I went to a talk, and someone was from Baltimore, and they were commenting specifically about that, and I was just overhearing them, you know, just saying that DC doesn't have a good art scene, and Baltimore has a way better art scene, and why would you even be here as an artist? And I just remember it was before I had the very first show here, and I was like, fuck that. That's false. That's false. DC is a thriving metropolis. It's full of people, and that means it's full of artists. And I think that it's about intention, and we can always find new spaces, but when you choose to do something with a space that, for me, art is, it's food, exactly what Rosalind said. I need it every day of my life. It's just all I want to talk about and think about. It's everything for me. And so it was very obvious that I would share this thing that's so important in my life with other people, and have it be a place where people can gather over art. And I've never done anything like that before, and it only fed the fire of not only how important art is for people, but how important it is what happens when we're the process of making art, and how we are together when we're making art. So having this space has been totally transformative in my life, and only reiterates how important art is, I think, for all of us, especially now, like Mapp said, especially now. You know, artists really change cultures. Artists are the ones that change cultures. Politicians, everybody else reacts to art. We're the ones that create the tides and change what's going on, and we have to remember that all the time. And we are really defining what's happening, and that's a really powerful thing. So I think the more we can have spaces where more artists can connect and vibrate with each other, you know, it's a freaking revolution.